Hi, my name is Steve Kirsten. I'm going to be presenting Google Earth for the Integrating and Implementing Technology class for Dr. Ward in fall of 2012 at the University of Akron. This is a wonderful instructional piece of technology that teachers can use as a way to facilitate learning in all areas. Um, you can do this with all age levels at all grades across all subjects. It's a piece of technology that some teachers have been exposed to in some capacity, but may not know some of the small little technicalities that can be used to make learning more efficient for their kids. So what exactly is Google Earth? Essentially, what it is it's a piece of technology that uses NASA and United States Geological Survey satellite images from space to allow teachers and students to travel the world, and essentially, believe it or not, parts of our solar system, galaxy, and cosmos through pictures, maps, and three-dimensional structures. What else it does is it provides satellite images of the moon and Mars as well. This is basically the framework for what we're going to be working with. When you download Google Earth, you'll get this first screen when you open it up. And the one key area we're going to focus on in this presentation is this section over here. This section and then these icons right up here too, to give you a little bit more of insight as to how you can use it to make learning more effective for your kids. Why should I use Google Earth? Well, if you're a science teacher, there's multiple ways you can use it with plate tectonics, fissure zones. You can identify weather patterns, animal tracking out in the Pacific Ocean, volcanic eruptions. You can identify physical features of the moon and Mars, rock layers of the Grand Canyon using GigaPan software already added to Google Earth. Like I said before, science teachers can also use the sky option to view stars, constellations, nebulae, comets, planets, other galaxies, uh, quasars, and there's multiple ways that Google Earth can be used just in science. History is the same way. Major war battles can be identified, ancient civilization structures, places like Great Wall of China, Machu Picchu, the Great Pyramids of the Giza Plateau. You can identify geographical terminology, you can do scavenger hunts with it. You can identify famous modern structures like the man-made islands out in Dubai, or you can identify Eiffel Tower, the 9/11 Memorial. There's tons of things that can be found on Google Earth. Language arts, believe it or not, I've seen teachers create literature trips for the characters of their novels. They identify the spots where they've gone and the paths that they've taken throughout the novel chronologically. Mathematics, teachers can identify altitude and temperature differences, perimeter, area, distance measurements. I'm going to walk you through a couple of examples of how to identify distance. One of the big questions that a lot of teachers ask are related to tours. When you get on blogs and you check out a lot of questions that are being posed regarding Google Earth, this is a big one. And the answer is yes. Tours can be created through teacher-led explorations. I'm going to try and help you see how you can create one. They're actually not as difficult as you think. And you can also download them, believe it or not. There are websites that have them. So, I would do a little bit of research before you even consider creating one because there might be one that's already made for you. Historytours.wikispaces.com is a good one. They've got some pretty good examples of ones that you could use. Limitations are always going to be a factor when talking about instructional technology. Depending on the speed of your internet, navigation rate may vary. Obviously, if you've got a pretty good bandwidth usage rate, you're not going to have any slow interruption um, or poor moving objects in the Google Earth images. Whereas maybe at home, speed gets slowed down. Maybe it's not as crystal clear as you like, or it's not zooming in as fast as you would like, and a lot of times that's the case. If you're going to be working with scavenger hunts for the kids, if you're going to do this outside of a teacher-led discussion, um, you're going to have to use some type of computer lab. If you have access to computer labs, they're awesome for scavenger hunts and having the students do student-led inquiries. Displaying information to a class requires access to a projector. Um, Obviously, it's not very advantageous to student learning to have 25 kids, hovering over one computer looking at the information from Google Earth. Interaction with the Google Earth app with the Google Earth requires a smartboard. That does help if you have one. It can make it a little bit more interactive, and you can have the students come up and be actively involved with the lesson and the actual application itself. One of the key things that most students have a problem with is, the first thing you got to get past with the kids are, oh my gosh, I want to look up my house. Well, they all want to do that. So as soon as you get past that whole prospect, um, Google Earth can be a very, very effective learning tool. One of the things that you will find is that not all the highways and roads offer the street view option. That's essentially where you basically send a camera down onto street level, and you can see all the buildings in three-dimensional representations. And they're essentially done in pictures taken from vehicles that have driven down the roads. School networks might block the download of Google Earth, so I would double check with your technology department first. Make sure you have access to Google Earth and you can download it. I'd hate to see you waste a couple minutes, a couple hours playing around with it, trying to get it to download to your computer, and it's blocked, and it won't, and your network won't let you use it. That actually happened to me, and I was surprised by it since it being an instructional technology tool. Be that as it may, still definitely check with your technology department to make sure you're in the clear. Educational effects, well, I've used it many times, and it's every single time I use it, I get the same results. Students are very intrigued with the features of the Google Earth. They show a lot of motivation to learn. They become actively involved. It enhances their learning process. They get motivated. They get excited. You can use it for great set inductions into lessons. And in the end, most importantly, students are more enthusiastic about their learning, and that's a good thing to have, especially for students that have maybe don't have access to the internet at home or have never used an application like this. It's a great way for students to get to see how the natural world works. I've also included on my wiki space a couple links to tutorials. Um, I'm also gonna put this PowerPoint presentation on my wiki, so if you would like to click on the Google Tutorials link right here, it'll take you to a bunch of the tutorials that you can go through to help you learn a little bit more about how Google Earth operates. This will end this first session. My next video is going to be on a demonstration of how you can properly use Google Earth in the classroom. Thank you.